So I've been a loyal fan of Apple's for as long as I can remember. But nowadays, there's just so many products that they're just not all worth buying. I've owned a lot of Apple products throughout the years, and there's just so many that are so unnecessary that you just don't need to be buying year after year. So here is the list of the Apple products that I'm done buying and that you shouldn't either. Starting off first, and a device that I've hated on non-stop since I started this channel, the iPad. I think, simply put, that the iPad is a Netflix device. I, not only from personal experience, but have so many friends that have opened and used their iPad for college, and then a few months later, they end up just using them for Netflix and streaming purposes. And that's pretty much what I've seen happen to most people, unless you're in a very specific content creation type of niche, which I'm currently in college, but when I started, I didn't have this channel. And so I ended up buying an iPad, buying a Mac a few months later, and then selling my iPad. But now that I'm in content creation, there are a lot of times when I feel that there's a big use for the iPad that I used to have because of the lifestyle that I now have. But back then it simply wasn't that. So unless you're really into content creation or something similar, I just don't think an iPad is ever gonna be necessary. In my opinion, a Mac can do everything that an iPad can, or even a lot more, which is something that I don't think many people notice. Most iPads are overpriced and underpowered. They don't deliver as much as you're paying for. I could pay $1,000 for a Mac and $1,000 for an iPad, and the Mac is always gonna do so much more that it leaves me baffled at how they're even the same price. Next up on the list is definitely gonna be the iPhone. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm obviously not saying that I'm never gonna buy an iPhone again, or even recommending to you guys that you shouldn't buy one. But what I'm saying is that yearly upgrades on the iPhones is one of the most absurd things I have ever heard. Anybody that I see do that, in my opinion, is simply wasting money, because Apple, year after year, don't give us enough changes to warrant a bigger upgrade every single year. A bigger upgrade like the 11 to the 16 is something I can 100% vouch for, because bigger upgrades do make a lot of sense, because over the years you really do get to see how much Apple ends up changing their products. But year after year, it's just something that's completely useless to do, and I just hope nobody that watches me does that, because it's something, like I said, that I haven't kept quiet about and I've made a lot of videos on, and I think I'll continue to do so. And next up on the list, and this isn't even necessarily because of personal hate or my personal experience, but from what I've seen from all of my friends, everybody on YouTube, and just people around me that have spoken about it, the AirPods Max make no sense whatsoever. They have a price tag that would reflect or lead you to think that the sound quality you're getting is amazing. But when you actually compare it to either Bose or Sony, so pretty much just any company in the space that we know is somewhat big, you'll be able to see that with their headphones, not only the sound quality, but many other things as well, you'll notice that Apple is just lacking. I think the AirPods Max need a big upgrade, because what they're delivering right now at the price point just isn't good enough. Once that upgrade does come along though, the design of them is really cool. The design is very Apple. The high quality of the materials as well. So it has everything there. It's just lacking the sound quality. So if that upgrade were to come in the next few years, I can definitely see the AirPods Max being something that's a lot more usable and more readily available than other competitors' headphones. Next up on the list is gonna be the iMacs. Now, if you go for iMacs and the really, really high, expensive ones, then I guess there at that price point, you could be getting a lot of value. But with Mac Minis, I just really don't think that there should be iMacs out there anymore. I just think it makes a lot more sense to buy a Mac Mini for around $400 and then get a monitor for $200 and then a keyboard and a mouse for less than $100. At around $700, you're already getting a much better deal than you would get if you were to buy an overpriced iMac. Again, it's just something that I don't see much sense in buying. Price-wise and quality-wise, you're simply not getting as much as you could be getting for the price you're paying. So in my head, just makes no sense. And I think for now, that's really going to be the only 4 products that I'm just going to stay away from as much as I can, because I do think that the Apple lineup has a lot of cool products out there, and they have some of the best, if not the best in the world. But just because they're an amazing company doesn't necessarily mean that every single product they offer is amazing. If you guys agree or disagree with me in any way, leave it down in the comments down below and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Check my channel out. If there's anything you like, anything you see, hit the subscribe button, because I'd appreciate that. I just hit 1,000 subscribers and now we're looking towards 2,000. Hit the thumbs up if you did like the video, or dislike the video if you disliked the video. And I guess since there's nothing else to be said, I'll see you guys in the next one.